So howdy everybody, DW Verts here. Beautiful early fall afternoon here in the central Missouri. Been out shooting my longbow, a little stump shooting, because getting close to time to try to do some bow hunting. Something I haven't done in years. Looking forward to it. Just been so daggum hot here, but it's not today, it's in the 50s. Dandy day. Got some other things to talk about. Important stuff. I hope y'all like it. I'm Dale Verts. This is Hickbilly Outdoors. Be back in just a minute. So, before I get any further into this, y'all, I'd like to make sure you understand I don't know everything. Heck, I don't know anything sometimes. But I've been doing this for, golly, since I was 10 years old, box trapping rabbits. Steel trapping since 1976. I've learned a few things. And my whole deal with the YouTube channel is to pass some of this on. I'm going to die someday. I'm going to be gone. Some of the old timers are, and I've learned a lot of stuff from old timers, so I'm kind of hoping to pass some of my stuff on to y'all. There's so many things to trapping, and a lot of it's already on the internet. There's a lot of good trappers, probably better than me, but this is my channel. I'm going to do some trapping content, so there you are. My opinions, don't judge me. Just, if you can learn something, great. If you like what I'm doing, subscribe, hit that like thing, whatever, make it all happen. And get into a short deal here on some important things I feel are very important when it comes to trapping, especially predators, bobcats, fox, coyotes, such as that. So we'll talk about that. So when I've taught clinics over the years, the number one thing I tell people, the most important thing to trapping, is to understand that you have to get that animal to commit to the trap. Where it's a blind set with a 330 in the creek, or a dirt hole coyote set, you have to get him to put his paw right there. There's a lot of science to that, probably a lot more art to it than anything. I don't call trapping a sport. It's not sport, it's an art. So you can talk about sport hunting and sport fishing. Trapping is an art. It is building a set every time is a piece of art. It's your own personal piece of art. That's the way I feel about it. So you've got to, that's important. You've got to get the animal to put his foot on that 2.5, 3 square inches. We'll talk about that some more later. What we're going to talk about right now, because it's preparatory time, people working on traps. I have traps working. I got almost 400 footholds sitting over here. I only used 35 of them last year. I probably won't mess with those this year because all the rest of those will need attention because they sit out here in the sun. I'll probably just wax them all again. Get fresh wax on them. Any odors, like I said, this trap here, if it was used last year, it never caught an animal. And it probably was used because there's just things I can tell. But it's got a little spot of rust showing through here and there. So anyway, preparatory. So preparatory means getting a trap ready to go. Trap mods, I'm not going to argue. 4 coils, over 2 coils. I use them all. And I have reasons for both. But I will argue that pan tension is critical. Now guys, if y'all are catching critters with a free-falling pan, good for you. I can't do it. I'm not good enough to do that. I've tried. I gave it up years ago. So pan tension means the pan has to have weight before it moves. It has built-in tension on it, built-in weight. And you do that several ways. Mostly you do that by the adjustment screw right here. And this pan right here, seriously, is almost free-falling. It's just nothing there. This one, on the other hand, was set last year for sure, and it's got about 4.5 pounds. It's actually maybe a little stout. Of course, it's also been setting. I'll work some of that in, but I'm going to re-wax them anyway. When I re-wax them, I'll loosen all those screws up so wax gets in them real good. Then we'll reset that. A lot of trap mods that I do. Everything is filed square and pretty and clean, and every one of my traps has a night latch as far as my predator traps, not my beaver footholds or my raccoon footholds I don't use anymore. No need for a night latch. A night latch, when I was a kid, they called it a gun trigger, and it's the best way to describe it. It's like a good gun trigger, which everybody's finally figured out is the real deal. a trigger that goes off finely and cleanly, not necessarily lightly. You give me a gun trigger set at 5 or 6 or 7 pounds, it breaks crisp and clean. I like it a lot better than one that breaks at 3 pounds. You got to pull it 3 times to make it go off. So that's the key for me, a clean release of that dog out of that notch. Very clean. But I like my pan tension. That's what we're talking about. So I have a night latch built in. Well, if everybody wants, I've done a video on this before, I think. I did a how-to tutorial on Trapboard years ago, trapboard.com. Probably could still be found, where I showed every step of filing it. It's kind of an entailed deal. Once you get going, it's not bad. I'm going to have that night latch, and I'm going to have my pan tension. The theory behind the pan tension is this. An animal is committed with his weight on that pan before the trap fires. He's in it deep. I get the prettiest deep pad catches by using pan tension. And even if I get a toe catch, he was committed enough he wasn't pulling out. Here's the theory, my theory. A trap pan that falls easily, especially, and this is the most important thing, is coyotes. Coyotes are just crazy. Coyotes live in a different plane of existence from us for what they see and feel and smell and hear. He's approaching set. He's a little worried. He's a little freaked out by what he's smelling. It's different. That's why I keep my sets pretty subtle too, by the way. Whole nother video. So let's say you got him committed. He puts his paw right on top of that pan, buried in the dirt. As he starts to put his weight on it, that pan moves. Now, how fast is he? He's fast. He could win every drag race in the country. His reaction times are freaky. But what happens, he pushes away and sometimes pushes even deeper, but he's coming out when the trap fires. He's pulling out and you toe catch him. Can I hold him by the toes? You're darn right. I've held him in 1.5 fox sets by the toes. I don't like it. Makes me nervous. Not to mention, we want these animals to be as humanely treated as possible, and they're more likely to pop a toe off. They'll never pop. I've heard about losing feet and footholds. Bull crap. It ain't. By the way, guys, it ain't leg hold. Please, it's foothold. Let's get that right. Don't use leg hold. Leg hold sounds like some, I don't know, Roman era torture system. It's a foothold, okay? Not a leg hold, please. Okay, enough of that. Anyway, so he's pushing away and you're going to catch him by the toes. Now, a night latched light tension trap, you'll still catch him fairly deep. The problem with my traps being light and night latch is he's not committed as deep. Plus, I put a lot of dirt, especially on my coyote sets. I bury them, and that weight of that dirt with rain or something on it, you're going to have fired traps. What the heck happened there? The trap sitting there in the bed, fired, dirt everywhere. That's what happened. So, I'm going to put, I hate to tell you this because it's kind of a what if thing. I'm going to have 3 pounds of tension on all my bobcat and coyote traps, minimum. 3 pounds. Even the smallest bobcat, you'll catch 3 pound tension. If not, he's a kitten. You didn't want him anyway. I am not afraid of using 4 pounds on coyote. Even the smallest coyote will put 4 pounds down. And by gosh, when that trap fires, you own him. He's pushing on it. More than that, probably overkill. 3.5 pounds would be a good place to be for coyotes. 3.5 would be really good. How do you tell 3.5 pounds? Well, they got that Sullivan trap pan tester. I've got one. I don't like it. It's just maybe new ones are better. Mine's an old one somebody gave me, or I've bought in a bucket of stuff. I use my digital fish scales, which I wish I'd thought. I got one right here in my boat. A digital fish scale, you kind of set it where you think it's fairly heavy, and it's usually not as heavy as you think. Set the trap, hold the trap underneath it, put the hook of that fish scale on there and start pulling. It reads very finely. And you want to break somewhere, and you pull gentle, you want to break somewhere around 3.5 pounds for coyote. It's not too much for bobcat. I like a little bit less. And for red fox, 2.5 pounds. And guys, that's being specific about when I'm setting the traps. When I set them up ahead of time, which we're talking about now, getting the traps ready, I'll kind of have them set where I want. And I pretty much get it close without having to take a tester to it. I haven't tested a trap in years. I had a stroke in 2010. And that year I was missing animals. And I had animals stepping over my sets. And I checked the trap, had 11 pounds of tension on it. 11 pounds. That takes a pretty big dog. I was catching it by the hind legs sometimes. Hind feet. I said feet. I didn't say legs. Edit. I get it close enough. It's always more than what it feels like, it seems like, for me. That's, again, my opinion. It always feels like it's more. I would say that one's pretty close to 5 pounds right now. And it's probably only 4. So it takes a little while every year to get used to it. But you don't want to screw up too much. You want to get it right. So if you get one of those digital fish scales at Walmart, put the hook on there and check a few, you'll get an idea of where you're at. I think it's critical. Pay attention. Make him commit with his weight before the trap fires. The trap won't fire as easily. Birds won't fire a trap. If you're catching crows and owls and hawks, which we've all done, heaven help you, an eagle. You got too much stuff near the trap bed for them to get in, for one thing. A whole visual thing's way too much. But also, you're not using enough paying attention. I know a guy caught a mouse in a trap a few years ago. That is zero. That's beyond zero. How he did that. And the mouse did not survive it, by the way. But anyway, so pretty simple. Okay, guys? That's my feelings. Pay attention. Have some weight before the trap fires. It has to fire cleanly. None of these traps come out squared off pretty enough, good enough. I take a file to everything. That means every edge from the dog itself, which I don't know if you can see, I've got that file. I've even got a little angle filed into it so there's less contact area. To the pan notch, everything is square. If you don't do a night latch or gun trigger, fine. But it needs to be square so it fires clean. You don't want it sliding and a lot of slack. That pan starts dropping, you're going to miss critters. You're going to toe catch them. And it'll boggle your mind how easy it gets, much easier it gets with paying attention. So, what we're going to do, I'm going to show you a night latch the way I do one. Hopefully you can hear this. Chickens are crowing, the wind's blowing. See if you can hear this. Hear that click? Hear that? Try that again. I actually did it with a this is a 1 3/4 bridger because it's got a little further fall into the night latch because it's night latched on the dog instead of the pan. That's why I got this one. It's a little bit louder, I hope. Try this again. Hope you can hear this. See if you can see it fall into place. Click. Night latch. You do it in the dark. You know it was set in the dark. And so, boy, I don't know if I can show this. The pan is going to move minimally before it fires. Ready? I'm going to start pushing down the pan right now. It never moved. That's how good my night latches are. Guaranteed. The pan did not, well, of course it moved. It come off the dog. Don't matter. No way is animal getting out of that because the pan moved. I've had a guy try to measure it once. It was immeasurable. Thousandths of an inch before it fires. You have to do it that way. But you don't want that thing. A night latch does you no good if the pan's falling a bunch to start with. That trap's there set about 2.5 pounds. It's probably more of my fox trap. It was used last year, obviously. So anyway, there you go, guys. Hope that makes some sense to y'all. We got to put them where the animals are first. We got to make the animals commit to it. I am going to use paying attention myself. If you don't, wonderful. Praise the Lord that you're a trapper like I am. However it works for you, works for you. I know it helps me. It's helped me for 40 years. I was just about 18 or 19 before I realized how floppy pans weren't helping me any. Started catching coyotes, and they got a lot easier when I figured that out. There you go, guys. Thanks a bunch. Thanks for watching. If you like what I'm doing, hit that little button there, whatever. I'm not good at this YouTube stuff. I don't claim to be. I just want to help people because someday I'm going to be dead. Somebody needs to keep this going. God bless y'all. Talk at you later.